So joining us live over Zoom to discuss the 32-hour work week, Associate Professor Angela Hall from Michigan State University. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So most seem to be in agreement that there are a lot of issues when it comes to work hours for most Americans and that something needs to be done. What are your thoughts on these discussions?
I think that in this post-COVID era that we're in, that a lot of people are suffering from stress. A survey that came out recently from the Society for Human Resource Management talked about how people are feeling less engaged, overworked, stress, and burnout is at a very high rate now across all types of jobs, across all types of sectors.
So I think most people could immediately see the benefits to the worker, but is this feasible? Do you think this is a realistic idea?
I think it could be realistic in certain limited circumstances, but the reality is that work has been structured for so long, around 40 hours a week. And if you have something like a hospital, a certain business where you're like a store, you need to be able to serve your customers. And if people are only going to be working 32 hours a week, you're going to have more employees working more shifts, or you're going to have to offer the employees their overtime.
Obviously, there are some concerns for these companies, but we see the benefits for employees, including productivity. Are there benefits for these companies as well?
Potentially, when you have workers who aren't stressed out, they're less likely to make mistakes. They're less likely to leave their jobs. It's expensive to replace employees. You have an employee more engaged with their work. But on the flip side, if you have a job where you have to get the stuff done, you may feel like you have to work and get things done in 32 hours where you normally had 40 hours, and that may even cause more stress. So especially for people who have white collar type of jobs, I think that a 32-hour work week may be actually a negative thing for them.
Now, this has been tried before in a number of places in Europe that I'm aware of. Do you have any idea how well that's gone over there?
Yes, I mean, overall, people in a lot of places in Western Europe, they rate higher on happiness, and they have actually done well, like in France with a 35-hour work week. But they also have other types of social supports and such that we don't provide in the United States. Like we don't have paid maternity and parental leave. We don't have those types of things, and we don't have social health insurance. And so when you're talking about people who need to make more money to cover more things that, for example, the government doesn't provide, or they may have to, or their employer only provides for part of it, well, then I think that we're really not structured in a way like those countries are for a shorter work week.
Sure. Angela, who do we need to talk to make this happen? That's what I need to know.
It would be great if we could just all have a day off, but
Yeah.
I think it's a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that in mind, though, several years ago, it wouldn't have seemed realistic or feasible to have lots of people working from home. And in many industries, that is now the norm. Do you think the changes that the pandemic brought into the world make big shifts like this or any others a little more possible?
I do agree with that. And I think that the 32-hour work week may be something different than just like not working 5 days a week. It may be that you work 2 half days. It may be that you get, if you have the type of job that allows for it, flexibility to have hybrid or remote work. So I don't think it would just be, okay, we're just going to all of a sudden start cutting people down to 32 hours a week. You can't, we don't expect you to work more than that, and you're still going to be paid for 40 hours. I just don't think that is actually realistic.
Sure. In the meantime, while employees keep dreaming, are there other things that people can do just to try to make the work day and week a little less stressful?
Absolutely. I think employers need to give employees flexibility with their scheduling to the extent that's possible. Making sure to the extent that employers can provide a fair living wage for employees, doing things their work-life balance, like parental leave policies, paid parental leave if they can afford that. Other things to make coming to work not seem so onerous, and realize that people are a whole person. You have your work side, but you also have to realize that there's things you have to do, like take care of your family, feed yourself, wash your clothes, and employers that can support that more will be better off in the long run with happier and more engaged employees.
Yeah, well, it's just kind of fun to talk about, but we appreciate you bringing some real data and ideas to back it up. Angela Hall from Michigan State, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Take care.